Hi everyone, it's Galaxy Wolf, and today I thought I'd do a tutorial on how to use Alight Motion, which is the animating app I use for my shorts. I'll be explaining everything from how to set up the model to how to animate it. Oh, and if you're following my channel, then this is technically a voice reveal. But enough talk. This process takes about an hour in real time. So grab your favorite playlist and let's hop to it! To start, you're going to need 3 apps. A gotcha app for your characters, a drawing app so you can separate the layers, and obviously, Alight Motion. Let's start by getting ourselves a character. This one should do. So first of all, we're going to need a body sheet. Gotcha Life 2 doesn't necessarily have a body sheet, so I pre-made a pose right here which separates all the limbs and the body and the head. In Gotcha Life, you're normally going to find the body sheet by the pound button. In Gotcha Club, you're going to find the body sheet button by going to the hide section in the others parameter. So now that we have our body separated, we're going to separate the hair from the head, which includes the front and the back hair. We can leave the rear hair right where it is. We also have to move the front and back hair highlights, that way everything stays where it's supposed to. Next, we're going to remove the eyes from the face. That way we can animate those for a smooth blinking motion. We will also move the eyebrows and the mouth. Next up, we're going to remove the neck bits. That way we can have a smooth place to put the arms. And then we're going to move the belt, that way we can easily cover up any mistakes that the legs might have. Next, I'm going to remove the character's jacket, back, and their hood. That way I can easily have those movable. Next, we're going to take a screenshot. Only one should do. Next, we're going to go to our drawing app. I use IBI as paint text, but any app will work fine. So we're going to tap the plus button and set up a canvas with a ratio of 1:1. Next up, we are going to input the screenshot that we just took. You're going to tap the import picture button and put it in. I like to size up my screenshot, that way I can have full proportionate body parts and access to all of them. Tap the cancel button because we don't need to do any of that. And then we are going to use the magic wand tool to get rid of the background. You can also do this by going to the selection layer and coloring out anything else that we don't need. Another thing that helps me get rid of the background would be to decrease the opacity of the original layer. So once we have everything that is not a body part selected, we're going to tap the clear layer button and remove the selection. Then we're going to return the opacity back to 100% and duplicate the layer and add the alpha lock. We're going to need to duplicate a lot. The minimum amount is usually like 20 or so. That's how many layers I usually need. Now we're going to return to the original layer and erase everything except for the body. Now the alpha lock tool makes sure that any coloring that we need to do to get rid of any white edges stays within the lines. Moving on, we're now going to erase everything except for the upper arm. Now we're going to move the upper arm onto the body. That way it looks like that. Now we're going to do the same thing for the lower arm. use the translate tool and attach it to the upper arm. Now you see those white edges? That's what I was talking about earlier. We're going to go to the brush tool, copy the color, and get rid of the white edges. That way it looks more natural. Now, if we didn't have the Alpha Lock tool and we still tried to adjust the picture, it would look kind of like that, which would later mess up the animation. Now moving on, you should get the process by now. We're going to separate another body part. This time it's going to be the hand. Now you see, this is where the hand would usually go, but if I keep it above, then it's going to look unnatural. So I'm going to have to put it below the lower sleeve. Now it looks like a regular gacha character. And now we're just going to do everything for pretty much every other piece. We erase the pieces, reattach them, get rid of any white edges, and make sure it looks nice and neat. Erase, attach, repeat and repeat. Another thing to keep in mind is that everything has to have a certain layer order. It's important that you have the position and the layering correct, that way it can stay in place when we put the thing into Alight Motion. It's okay if you need to adjust a thing or two to make it fit the character better. Just put everything back in its regular position. And if you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, then I would recommend getting a screenshot and lowering the opacity, and then put it above the character. That way you know where everything goes for a good reference. Also, make sure that the selected body part is the only thing that you have on that layer. If you have pretty much anything else on your layer, it'll come into perspective when you start moving the character around. So erase anything that doesn't need to be there. So now we have pretty much every layer set up, and we're going to save each individual layer, starting from layer 1, as a transparent PNG by tapping the 3 dots on the side of the canvas, and then tap save as a transparent PNG for the entire thing, from 1 all the way to the top layer. So now that we have our character, we're going to go over to Alight Motion, tap the plus button, tap Element, and then choose the same canvas ratio that we used in IBIS Paintex. Tap Create Element, and then we have this layout. We're going to tap the plus button, go to Media, then all the pieces should be in the Pictures folder. We're going to tap the button with 6 squares, go all the way to layer number 1, and tap the button with 3 squares. This will allow us to choose multiple layers. Start from the beginning, head all the way to the top. Once you have all of your layers selected, we're going to tap the button that looks like an upside down staircase. This will have everything layered on top of each other. Now this part is also pretty important, so you know which piece you're working with. You're going to identify which layer it is, tap the X button on the title part, and then name each layer. Now since I want the back layer to move with the body, we're going to tap the parenting button, which you're going to need to watch an ad for, and then tap the thing that I want it to be attached to. And so it rotates on the right spot, we're going to tap the rotation button with the 4 arrows, and move the pivot point. That way it rotates normally. And then we're going to do the same thing for every other bit. Like here's the hood, attach the rotation point, do a test rotation to make sure it's okay, rename it. Then attach it to the piece with the parenting function. The back hair would get attached to the head instead of the body. Move the pivot point, that way everything is in place, and rename it. Now the limbs is where things can get a little bit complicated. If you know your lefts and rights, then name it as such. But if not, then just label it as front and back. Me, I'm going to label this as the upper right arm, because that's what this bit is. We're going to tap the parenting button and parent it to the body. Then we're going to take the pivot point and move it all the way to the shoulder. Now if you remember right, next step would be the hand. So label it as such. And then we're going to parent it to what would be the lower hand. Move the parenting point, and then we got the rotation. And then we're going to do the lower right arm. Name it. Parent it to the upper right arm. Move the pivot point. And now we got ourselves a good old shoulder rotation and an elbow rotation. And then we just do a lot of rinse and repeat. Name them, parent them, move the pivot point. Now that we have everything parented and ready for rotation, I hope you gave that character a name, because next we need to give this character some gravity. We're going to go to the leg, attach the parenting helper effect, and click the rotation lock. So now, when we move the body, the legs stay on the ground. And I also want the front hair to have some kind of gravity too, so I'm going to add the parenting helper, and instead of doing lock, I'm going to do weighted. Go back to the body layer, rotate it forward, head back to the parenting helper effect, and move the slider until it's about the way I want it. And now everything moves with gravity. I could also do this for the ponytail as well, but I think I like the ponytail staying airborne. Now we move on to a project. The projects are different because they're like actual videos. We tap the plus button, go to element/project, and then our most recent element should be right there. We tap on it, and there she is. Now, as you can tell, she's obviously not moving. We're going to tap element settings and convert to group. This will allow us to do everything without changing the original element setting. I'm going to increase the body size, that way it's easier to see. So I'm going to start off by getting our character into a body pose. Now you'll see that when I moved the right arm, it was still behind the body. So we're going to head back to the lower right arm, keep it in the location, and then tap the Z parameter. That will move the layer forwards and backwards. We're going to move it forwards, that way we can still see the arm, and now it looks like she has her arms folded. Now the next step is to set keyframes. If I want the head to do a simple bobbing motion, I would put one rotation keyframe by pressing the little diamond button, and then place another one at the end, where I would then adjust the rotation. And when I tap the play button, her head just moves like in a straight down motion. But if I tap the graph button, which is right underneath the keyframes button, it will then show a green line. So we're going to tap the part that says try, and then we will have a couple of bumps, and use the yellow dot to adjust the graph. This then gives us the bouncing motion that we wanted for the head bobbing. Now let's say we wanted to make this bobbing motion a bit more dynamic. We should add some keyforms to the body. Head to the body layer. Tap rotation. Add a keyform at the beginning and end. Give it a slight rotation. Go to the graphs, the bouncing, adjust, and now it's moving a bit more now. Now, while that is a good base for the starting of a project, it's probably best if we started off with a walking animation, which is probably the simplest you can get. So we're going to start by putting 4 keyframes at every half a second. Take a look at the 4 poses and adjust the leg so it looks as such. The first and very last keyframes should be the same. That way we have a walking loop. Here's our first pose. Now moving on to the second keyframe, we're going to move on to the second pose, in which we're also going to tilt the body a bit forward. That's our second pose. And now for our third pose at the third keyframe. Third pose, and now fourth pose. And now we have ourselves a nice and steady walking animation, but it doesn't exactly look natural yet. That's because we haven't put keyframes on the arms. The arms should be moving in the opposite directions of the legs. So we move the keyframes for the upper right and left arm. Hit play. And now we got ourselves a nice walking animation. So some extra tips. If you want your character to look super detailed, I would recommend separating the ears, like I did with mine, and the side hair. I also separated the left ear and the parts of the eyes, which include the sclera, the iris, and the eyelashes. This allows me to make more detailed movements with the head. And if your character has long hair, then you're going to want to add the parenting effect on the hair as well. See? Just so the hair hangs down when you rotate the body. Gravity. Now, if your character has extended sleeves like my Gacha persona, you're going to want them to hang down too. Kind of gives it a cuter look. For this, I separate the sleeve from the arm, and I also keep the hand behind the sleeve. So to add the gravity effect, I set the parenting lock on the left sleeve, and voila! Now if I want to change hand styles mid-video, I can also use this element I made, which has all the hand presets. I just copy and paste one whenever I like and adjust however I need it to be. Now when I want to add a temporary mouth movement, I have a folder for gotcha faces, in which I have different mouth shapes. Then I add a square above the mouth that I want. Move the layer with the 3 lines on the top. And create a clipping mask with the 3 dots at the top of the screen. I parent the mouth shapes to the rectangle. And then I use the chroma key effect to get rid of the blue background from the mouth. Now because the green square is still there, I have to change its color to that of the skin tone. And then I can move the mouth shape onto the face. Now there's clearly a sizing issue here, so I just head back to the mouth shape screenshot and adjust position and size. And now I've got a mouth on my character. And then I can remove it at any time at all. And to make sure that the mouth moves with the head, just use the parenting effect with the rectangle. So that's just the basics. I'd say play around with some features and see where that takes you. Most videos work better with an attached audio, which you'll have to screen record separately and then add it in. A little thing to remember is that most people start small. It took me about 3 months to get this good, so take your time. And one more piece of advice, before you start your channel, I'd say gather a cache of videos to be prepared. I had about 40 videos before I got my channel. Alright, have a good day and peace out. I also realized that I'm really bad at tutorials, so thanks for bearing with me.